We're gonna get to the truth.
And let's try to get to it quick, because I do want this to be straight to the point. This
the truth is simple. The truth is quick, man. The truth isn't long-winded. It's not boisterous. It's not loud.
It's not to degrade people. It's not to manipulate people.
This isn't a smear
to make yourself look better.
Nah, man.
It's not. Let's tell what happened.
Yeah,
type of thing.
Yeah. Like I said, my karma is beautiful. My aura is beautiful, man. I'm just here to just let the people know the truth.
And only because there has been so many people over the past, going on the 7th year of our podcast, that have been there and supported, bought fucking tickets, bought subscriptions, and just downloaded
we're extremely
it,
grateful for that.
Fucking bootlegged it. I'm appreciated for it. Like,
absolutely.
People have just always came out for us. And, I understand when people do things twice a week for however many years, you become part of their lives and they want answers. And
absolutely.
In some cases, I can't tell you everything just because it is personal and legal things to some degree, but there should be some actual transparency.
Oh, no, we're going to get into some personal shit.
Or some other, we're
going to get into some personal shit. Like, I'm only doing this once. I'm not one of these guys.
Oh, no, I want this to be the end of it. This is not
I'm only doing this
going
once.
On a press run.
Yeah, I'm not here to smear nobody. I'm not here for that. This is just the truth. This is just not my truth, the truth. I think it's important because motherfuckers like to say, oh, my truth. No. This is the truth. This is what happened, what didn't happen. And, again, I thought we owed it to the fans and the supporters. So here we are. Yeah,
and I had a lengthy list.
Yeah, your list was kind of crazy. It gave me anxiety.
It was lengthy. It gave me anxiety. To be quite honest, I had to chop it down just because when you watch things and you react, I don't even want to say, because emotionally gets a bad rap for the word it is, but I will say emotionally. You react emotionally to certain things, which is fine. So I was sitting there writing 1,000 different notes on every last thing I disagreed with. That's a lie. That never fucking happened. How could you even think that's your perspective on this and that?
Right.
I was like, that it doesn't matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Right. Not to say I got over shit or anything like that, but I wanted to get straight to the point on what shit actually was.
Yeah.
The only petty moment I will have, as far as like just actual truths, would be the start of the podcast, which I think is the best way to start this entire thing.
Okay, so go ahead. This is where you take the floor. I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna listen and I'm gonna laugh and I'm gonna,
It's gonna be quick, and then we can get to right when you can.
Got you.
Start of the podcast happened. According to Joe and everyone else over there, even though this is easily Googleable, if that's a word.
It's a word today.
Within 30 seconds. I just popped up on the podcast on episode 20.
Right.
The original SoundCloud, episode number 1, and our SoundCloud is under my email. I set that entire page up on episode 1. My mans did the artwork. In retrospect, not the greatest.
Right.
Set up all the artwork, did all the uploads, did everything. And again, I'm not saying this is a big foot. Like anyone can set up a fucking SoundCloud page.
Right.
I'm not looking for credit on that type of behalf. But to say I popped up on episode 20 is a little weird. Super weird. And then to say I wasn't even on your brain, period, when it came to, what I want to do with this podcast. Joe, you sat me down on episode 5 and said, hey, can you come on this podcast, please? I need someone else to talk to. Can't just do the sex thing every time. I got to talk to someone else. Bet. Episode 6, here I am. But let's fast forward. You came. What's your perspective of that? Joe said he had no idea in the world where you were.
I came back to New York. A former friend of mine he had signed with the Knicks, and we were out in Detroit together. And so I was back in the city, and Joe, he hit me and was like, yo, I want you to, come by the pod and kick it. I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'll swing through. And came through. We had fun time, good conversation, laughs, jokes. It was kind of like catching up. I hadn't seen him in a while. So it was like catching up, and, the energy was dope.
I remember when he called you in his kitchen. I won't say the town, but in his kitchen from one of his older houses when we were sitting there trying to go through, like, we need to get a girl, we need to do this and that. Nothing really stuck at that point. And he was like, oh shit, I think Maul's in town. And I mean, you and I weren't cool, but we had seen each other around type of shit
definitely.
For a couple of years at that point. And I was like, oh yeah, Maul's fucking hysterical. That'd be great. Then you came on the show, seemed to stick. Did you have plans on staying? Like when you went into that, did you think it was gonna be a one-off?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought he just wanted to, kick the shit and bust it up, laugh. Shit we normally do when we see each other. So it's like, all right, cool. Yeah, we crack some jokes, tell some stories, and, what I've been doing, where I've been at, and, you know, just catch up. But it was something that stuck, and we had the conversation, I think maybe 2 weeks after that. And it became a permanent thing. Then
it started to really kind of catch some type of wave. Granted, it was definitely doing good numbers from RIP. As far as first podcasts go, I'll never say otherwise there. It definitely came out the gate. You know, Joe was polarizing. That shit was a good little thing we had going. I get a call from Elliot Wilson. Elliot says, hey, let's go to lunch. I've known Elliot outside of my relationship with Joe, outside of my relationship, anything to do with the podcast. I've just known Elliot.
I think everybody knows Elliot.
Elliot's my guy. Elliot's an amazing guy. Yeah. And Elliot will just hit you up and say, yo, let's grab a drink and let's have lunch.
Right.
So I said, bet. We go and have lunch. Don't really talk about podcasting specifically, but just maybe the overall genre and what's going on. He has a title and just shooting the shit about music because Elliot and I have similar interests. Towards the end of the lunch, he said, hey, you know, I'm over at Tidal full time now. I could probably give y'all like an offer on some type of podcasting thing. So I'd love to hear about that. Elliot says some numbers, not, you know, actual deal points or anything like that, but just, you know, what he thinks ballpark number, friends talking on what he thinks he could do per month.
Right.
Early in podcasting. I say, bet. So I called Joe. I said, hey, I just had a really interesting lunch with Elliot. Okay, what happened? I said, oh, Tidal, they're trying to put together this little podcast division. This is what's going on. This is what they think they could offer per month. Real casual, real regular. Never said yes or no to anything. I was just like, yeah, cool. I'll get back with the guys and we'll talk. Joe flips the fuck out on that phone. Yo, what the fuck would you ever talk about this fucking podcast to anybody? Like, flipping the fuck out. I said, Joe, I was talking to Elliot, who's a friend, and I didn't say anything but, okay, I'll talk with the guys.
Right.
Could have been a stranger on the street saying, yo, give you out $2 million tomorrow.
Right. I'm going to go talk to the guys.
I'll go talk to the guy.
Right.
Never said anything. Never went that. Was met with just a flip out.
Right.
Couple weeks later, Joe takes us outside of the Totowa studio. Yo, so I got this Tidal deal and said the numbers, and then they were exact same numbers, the exact same thing.
Yeah, I remember that. I think we had, did we have an argument that day about that? Was that?
No, you guys say that was about the Tidal deal, but I don't think that argument was about the Tidal deal.
Okay.
I think it has something to do with Highline Ballroom or something. I didn't think the Tidal. I don't think the Tidal deal was ever an argument.
It was a live show.
Because the Tidal deal, you and I thought was cool. Like, because I think it was for 6 months. It wasn't like some crazy deal. It was like, yeah, all right, maybe we'll get some bread.
Yeah.
And then move the fuck on. Granted, was it a good decision to probably turn it down? Sure. Whatever. Right. No one's ever mad about it.
Right.
Type thing. So once those deals start coming in, I'm thinking, well, we should probably just start having contract conversations. Because when we were thinking about taking the Tidal deal, Joe and I did sit down and talk about percentages off that monthly Tidal number.
Right.
Which happened. I don't care what you think, what your narrative is. This all happened. We turned down the Tidal deal. I think, well, we should just have that conversation anyways, because we're starting to get real offers, not just little ads here and there, like $1,500, $2,500. Like, we're getting actual offers. Are they crazy offers? No, but they're offers. So we should just do this because we're all friends. Let's just get a binding contract between all of us.
Right.
Nothing crazy, nothing to a specific deal.
Right.
Nothing to a lump sum of money, just a percentage-based shit. Let's just do that. Call Joe, and I say that to him. This was one of the first conversations I'd ever really been offended to Joe, and I've expressed this to him. He flipped the fuck out, called me insecure for wanting to have a contract, and said, don't call me about this shit. I said, I'm insecure because I think we're all friends, and I want to have a contract since all these deals are coming in. So once the deals are finalized, the three of us don't have to say a fucking word to each other. We good.
Right.
We can continue on with this chemistry of this podcast.
Right.
But I'm insecure. I found that very odd. The same way he psychoanalyzes his friends, I thought that was the weirdest fucking thing on earth.
Right. You understand that now,
simply,
though. You understand what that energy was about now, though.
This was just the first one.
Okay, got you.
This was just the first one. Just said to myself, well, that's kind of weird. That's not insecurity. That's just how shit goes. I called before we had any deal to talk about ownership of this podcast. Joe said otherwise. We then all agreed we'll do profit partners, which is fine. If you want to own the IP of this shit, it wasn't even an argument before my lawyer even got in on that shit. That was a simple Joe and I conversation. This your IP on your shit? Okay. But let's just be profit partners.
Right.
I'm not going to get paid off this podcast. Let's put some real sweat equity into the shit. If you want to own the shit, cool. And I won't take away from everything Joe did prior to start that podcast in the beginning. Won't take anything away from that. Never even came in on some, yo, I need to own this shit. Did I bring it up first? Of course.
Right.
Who the fuck wouldn't?
Right.
It's a simple fucking thing. So then Spotify comes. Nick Rosenberg emails me, says, hey, I think Spotify is interested in doing some podcast stuff. I said, all right, bet. I'll put you on with Ian. At this point, I had already tried to bring up negotiating an actual contract prior, so we could have avoided a lot of these things once a real deal came in.
Right.
But we had all agreed at that point verbally that it would just be a profit partner percentage. Mm-hmm. After expenses, 3 of us bust down this percentage. Mm-hmm. We all sit behind every expense, not even on some IP shit. Not once did my lawyer even bring up in that Spotify deal about IP or a back catalog or anything. So that's why this narrative gets a little fucking weird to me. Spotify comes, we actually have to get these contracts done because now real money is on the table.
Right.
Not what the title deal was, not what any other ad was, not what any other thing that I'm privy to. I'm privy to. Let me make that clear. Shit that I'm privy to.
Right.
So I hit my lawyer and I say, hey, let's get a contract. I'm not the smartest person in the world, never will claim to be. I'm not a lawyer, anything like that. But when you go into a negotiation with another lawyer, you start at the top with everything, and then lawyers just start taking shit off of what's not going to happen.
Correct.
So, of course, a lawyer goes in and says, visuals. Visuals now are YouTube. Okay, let's negotiate. Mm-hmm. They say no. We get into the negotiation. Lawyer goes back and forth with his lawyer. Joe and I speak on the side, one quick conversation. I never brought up YouTube money again. Mm-hmm. Not one time. Never came out of my fucking mouth.
I think it's important to highlight that.
Never came out of my fucking mouth after a lawyer who did their fucking job and negotiated brought that shit up. I said, all right, bet. Okay, wait. So visuals are not off the table, just YouTube. Mm-hmm. I'm cool.
Right.
Never going to hear about YouTube from me again. Like, that's whatever. Visual does not just mean YouTube. YouTube's not the only place on earth that does visual shit.
But I'm
fine with that.
Let me stop you right there. The only reason why I had a problem with that was because the podcast, yes, was the Joe Budden channel active before the podcast? Yes. It was housing his music stuff, his videos, whatever. But we know what the subscription was before we started putting the podcast on there. As we started putting the podcast on, it became a weekly thing. The subscription started to grow.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's the only reason why I had an issue with that, because okay, cool. Yeah, you started this channel, no problem. But I know how YouTube, you get paid each video, off of each video.
So here's the thing. That conversation did happen between the lawyers. Because I know how the YouTube splits work and what that is. I'm familiar with it. Whether whatever side wants to say otherwise and on what I know and what I don't know, I know how that shit works. So my lawyer did say to them at one point, the percentage we have on audio, we don't have to do on that YouTube page. Mm-hmm. I think that shit, the last thing she said was as low as like 2% on that.
Right.
Like
something.
And on top of that, we're sitting behind YouTube expenses, which cool. I see the bigger picture. I'm not flipping about this shit at all. This is 2021 shit.
Nobody's being greedy.
I'm saying back then, fuck, I never cared about the money on that shit, nor did I think YouTube had some crazy payouts at that time. Mm-hmm. It was just lawyers negotiating. That's what lawyers do. It's not annoying. It's a simple fucking thing. And this was the simplest contract on earth. Mm-hmm. This shit was very easy. It was not some crazy back and forth.
But according to him, we don't know what the contract. We're percentage based.
Yes.
Because I see the narrative is people think that we work for Joe and we're employees and we get a salary. That's not what it was. We have a percentage-based contract.
And also people...
So we have to ask for accounting because how else will we know what we're supposed to get? We need to see the numbers. We get a percentage of whatever comes in for the podcast. I've seen a lot of people making, LeBron wouldn't ask Jeannie Buss for the books for the Lakers. I'm like, LeBron is a salary. He don't give a fuck what the Lakers makes as long as he makes $50 million at the end of the year. He doesn't give a fuck what the Lakers make. But if he was getting a percentage, if he was getting 30% a year, he would need to know what the Lakers made that year.
That's just basic.
So that's just to kill that narrative of we were asking to see the books and we are employees and that whole stupid narrative. We had a percentage-based contract, so you have to see the numbers so that you see everything that's coming in and everything that's going out.
So we get to accounting, which is in our contract that was drawn up by Joe's lawyer, my lawyer, Maul's lawyer, super standard with profit. That becomes an issue. I want to make this clear throughout the rest of this response. that I asked always the simplest questions ever. This narrative of me being this difficult person or this person wilding out. I also have those emails that everyone speaks about where I'm being difficult. Mm-hmm. I don't know how dumb you think I am, but accounting is not some shit you send in a 5-line item in the body of an email.
Right.
Just want to make that clear.
Right.
And when I asked for accounting, I didn't think asking for what's in your contract is such a fucking crazy thing to ask somebody, your friend or not. And on top of that, I sit behind the accounting expense.
Right.
I'm not going to say the company's name because it's not important.
Right.
But they're not a cheap company to hire.
Right.
They're expensive. And whether they do Joe's personal life, not my business, do not care at all. Nor am I trying to get into Joe's personal life or personal business outside of the podcast.
We just talking about the contract that we have.
I sit behind that expense, and it's in my contract. If I ask the simple fucking question of, hey, let me see the accounting, because it's also supposed to be there quarterly by law. And
that's another thing. You're supposed to. Well, we're supposed to get accounting quarterly. If you want to do it twice a year, that's cool. Whatever. But I'm
fine with that.
Right, but I think
it don't even need to be quarterly.
Right, but
it could be once a year.
I think
I'm
that
easy
people
to work with.
Right, people don't understand that this isn't something that just happened last month or March. Like, we were trying to just get some type of accounting since 2019, maybe.
No, way before that.
All I can remember is 2019.
Yeah, I'd have to look back.
Like, we had tried to get some type of accounting when we had the conversation outside of the studio. Like, yo, we never got accounting. Like, what's up? What's going on? You know, we just need to see what's going on with the numbers. And it's like every time it came to talk about accounting or business, it was always, you know, some negative energy coming from him. And that's telling to me. It's like, why are you getting so defensive when we're asking for something that's just protocol in business when you have a contract based off of profit percentages and all of that? Like, this is basic shit we're asking for. And
still, by the way, in the beginning when Mo and I were asking, because I initially asked and got back bodies of emails when it came to tour accounting, Spotify accounting, whatever we was doing, which again was not complaining in that type of sense. It was say, just send over like the real shit when you get a chance. Like, I understand people who are working. That was met with such tension every time I asked a simple question. My naive ass, nothing's wrong.
Right.
I'm taking accountability on that. Nothing's wrong.
But we took it.
I also want to make that clear because that became a narrative, even though it is later on in what I want to get to. I don't think anyone's a thief.
We never said that.
I don't think anyone's stealing. I never even said, hey.
It was a simple.
This is missing.
Can we just have the accounting? At this point? Yeah, we just wanted the accounting. And I from what I remember in 2019 when we finally got it, there was a quote unquote $400 and something thousand mistake. So I don't know what accountant makes a $400,000 mistake. So, but okay, you know, nobody's perfect. So I'm putting that out there. But it was just a little weird to me. So end of 2019, yes, you are correct in that timeline. End of 2019 is when we got the Excel sheet accounting. They went from the body of the email and then just gave me an Excel sheet with a few more line items. And my high school diploma asked before I sent it to my accountant, which also is standard business. You're not offending your friends. This is just how shit works. I'm not calling anyone a thief. People have accountants not because people are thieves, just because of that. They have them because they need to monitor their fucking money. I find something immediately, and I don't get disrespectful because I understand people make mistakes, and nor do I think people are stealing. That's my man. I love him. I don't think he's stealing from me. This is some shit we doing, and I know Joe got a lot of other shit going on. I got a lot of other shit going on. You got a lot of other shit going on. People make mistakes. Nor do I, and by the way, nor do I think Joe did the accounting. The people that was hired to do it did it. So I send that back. I say, hey, this appears to be a mistake. If I'm wrong, let me know. They come back and say, this big accounting company, which I will not say, said, you're right. That's a mistake. Yeah. We were wrong. I say, okay, cool. Then I watch Joe say, in a very condescending, sarcastic tone, Rory came to me and said, it's not that I don't trust you, it's that I don't trust wealth management. Well, he said the name, so I can say it. Fam, yeah, I don't care how condescending you say that. And it contradicts the fuck what you were saying. I never thought you were stealing. I'm trying to understand what the fuck they're doing over here, because this is incorrect. And I sit behind this expense. More importantly, I'm paying for this. And on top of that, there should already be podcast accounting.
You saying everyone has to run and do all this, and you're taking away from the overall goal. But like, fam, I'm just asking for what's in the contract. Your lawyer, if you should know you should know your contract the same way you're saying that to me. If this was going to be an issue, you should have told your lawyer that you did not agree on accounting.
Right. Yeah.
Your lawyer agreed to accounting.
Mm-hmm.
A body of an email and an Excel spreadsheet that people punch numbers into is not accounting. I don't care what you say. As a profit partner, that's not how it works.
It's not accounting.
I've talked with every lawyer and accountant I possibly fucking could have because I didn't want to be wrong on this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Listen, I'm new to this the same way we all were new to this.
Mm-hmm.
We've all run business shit outside of this, but this is a new thing, especially to the degree of money that the three of us have gotten from it. Right. This is a new thing. Right. So I went back and double checked because I don't even want to accuse my man that maybe I'm wrong because everything I've done has been through ledgers, QuickBooks.
It was never no
everything.
accusations.
Ever.
It was
Not
never.
once.
It was never. He was the one that brought that to the table. Like, you know, y'all are trying to paint me a certain way, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, we're just saying that we received accounting, and then there was a $400 and something thousand quote unquote mistake, and after that we never got accounting again. So I'm just like, all right, so what the fuck is going on? Like, is the mistake fixed? Can we get the updated version of accounting? Like, nothing.
So wealth management hits me, says, hey, yeah, we made a mistake. We're correcting the mistake. Here you go. I said, okay, bet. I talked with Joe or I talked with Ian. Honestly, can't remember. About a better strategy to go about doing this. From RIP, I've always been the one on trying to do a better strategy with going about these things because I've noticed, and at this point not mad at it, I've just noticed anytime I ask a very simple question, I'm met with so much anger and tension off like, whoa, what the fuck? Okay. Mm-hmm. So my accountant gets on with wealth management. My lawyer gets on with wealth management. They even talk about, yo, just come down. We'll open shit up. You guys could look at it. I wasn't even going to go. Why would I go? I don't give a fuck. Mm-hmm. My accountant can go. Mm-hmm. Just to get the regular shit, because maybe they have a lot going on, and maybe my accountant can just look at it and be like, all right, bet. That's the end of 2019. Pandemic hits. Who gives a fuck?
No, we had a talk. No, because we can't skip over this. We had a talk before the pandemic hit about accounting again. And this was right after Cole passed away, and we were outside the studio. And he was the first, because now I'm seeing this narrative that we're auditing him.
Oh, yeah.
He was the first one that even brought auditing to the table. When we asked him for accounting, he said, y'all got accounting. We said, yeah, but that was wrong. It was a mistake on that. Like, where's the new one? And he was like, oh, y'all trying to paint me away, da-da-da. And I'm like, no, we just want the correct accounting. Oh, well, then audit me then. And I'm like, audit you? I'm like, bro, fam, that's nasty. I'm not taking my niggas to court. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, that's just but again, looking back, everything makes sense now. Like, everything is starting to come together and paint a picture, because it's like, yo, why do you always get so hostile and so argumentative when we're trying to just get the business side right and focused and taken care of?
Which isn't even a large part of the business, honestly.
It's not.
There's so much more
but
to
it's like, fam, you got to remember, again, we're profit partners. We're percentage-based. We have a percentage-based contract, an agreement where we get a percentage off of everything that's coming in for the pod. So we have to see the money that's coming in. How else will we know what the fuck we getting? And then he had the nerve to say, one of the last conversations we had, he tells me, oh, you got a calculator, right?
Yeah.
And this for me, this is when
my story,
this is when, for me, I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to pull away from this in a minute, because I don't even know who this nigga is anymore, and I don't know who this nigga think he talking to. And I'm not trying to, that energy to me is corny to even have that type of energy with niggas you call your friends. Like, I don't even want to have that type of energy on me, right? So when he started talking like that, and I told you this, I said, fam, I'm not even sure who this nigga is anymore. Because he's saying things, he's moving a certain way, he's wearing funny hats. I don't know who this nigga is anymore.
Don't do that.
I'm just being real. I never seen a nigga wear a Miri hat in my life.
I wasn't mad at some of that, man.
I'm just saying, I've never seen a nigga wear a Miri hat in my life. So that for me was telling. I was like, oh, this nigga's, he's transforming into somebody else.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, why is it an issue? But for me, it was like, you know, you just talking to certain people, and everybody telling you like, yo, listen, I did business with him. Watch that nigga, man. I'm like, Joe ain't gonna do that to me. That's my nigga. He ain't doing that with me.
It honestly, never even crossed my mind.
Never crossed my mind. But now when this becoming argumentative and niggas are saying this and saying that, every time accounting comes up, I'm like, fam, why is it only an issue when accounting comes up?
The same way he said, why is it only a problem when money get brought in?
And again, my thing is, it's not about the money. It just became a point where the respect level just started to disappear, and you start talking to me like I work for you. And it's like, my nigga, I don't work for you. I don't work for you, bro. I don't know what type of meetings you having and who's talking to you and who's breaking down what to you. I don't work for you, bro. Like, this is something we built and pushed to get. I came on episode 77, but who gives a fuck? Before that, it wasn't no money here. Let's just be honest. It wasn't what it is now.
And you never argued IP. I want to make that clear.
Never.
Rory never argued IP. Maul never argued IP. I never
argued that. It was never about that. I'm like, fam, I want this to be as simple and easy as possible. This should be the simplest bag, the simplest money we ever make, because essentially what are we doing? We sitting down as friends and we kicking it. Yeah. We don't have to complicate this thing. But then after a while, once bigger checks start to come in, and once we're touring and all of this, it's like you start to see niggas moving certain ways, and it's like, all right, fam, it's just weird. Like, what the fuck is going on here? And for a while, my energy started to disappear because, like I said, I don't even know who I'm dealing with anymore at this point. Mm-hmm. And I know money changes niggas, and I understand that.
No, it doesn't. Money doesn't change anyway.
Money magnifies who you are.
Makes you more of what you already are.
It magnifies who you are. And I get it, bro. Like, I understand.
And again, this is not an assassination character. Sorry to cut you off. It's not an assassination character because I don't want to go in the same route that they went.
I'm not assassinating.
Joe has done great things with money and great positive things, because I do think there is a good part of him. But there's also this other part.
Right. Absolutely.
What you're speaking to.
Yeah.
I think Joe has some amazing qualities.
I think so too when he wants to. But I also, I'm learning because, see, you got to give shit time to fall the way it's going to fall.
Yeah, you got to give time.
And and you got to just watch people. And, you know, I heard Joe say, oh yeah, me and Maul we never broke down a bag or bust down bread together, whatever he said. And I'm like, my nigga, that's not true. Like, when you was still rapping and shit, I had you do verses for niggas that I know. I had you do videos with niggas that I know. Like, I had you through walkthroughs with promoters that I know, like in Connecticut and shit like that. Like, I tried to, like, bring shit to the table, like, but again, it's never about money for me. It's all about, you my man. Listen, if it's some bread out here to get, go get it. If I know some niggas that's trying to do a party and they want you to do a walkthrough and all that, here, let me set it up for you. But now, you know, that is bigger money coming in and all that, shit just got weird, bro. Like, shit just got very weird for me, and I'm not good with doing weird shit. I don't do weird shit. I don't like weird energy from niggas. Like, I remove once I see niggas doing weird, funny shit, I just get away from that. Like, I don't even want to be around that type of shit. And now it's to a point where you saying things and, you know, you got other niggas in the room saying things and chiming in, and I'm like, yo, what's up with y'all niggas? Like, what the fuck is going on? So now I'm sitting here working. Now everything is starting to become really clear to me. Like, shit is starting to really become clear to me. Like, oh, you niggas been having little conversations and conspiring shit for a minute. You niggas been trying to, like, set shit, you know, playing shit with the chess pieces and try to set shit up to look a certain way for a while now, because now that the shit is out the bag, I'm starting to see everybody's true feelings on certain things. And people is talking about business that they don't know nothing about. They talking about contracts that they don't know nothing about. And I'm just like, fam, what the fuck is going on here, man? And then you saying shit, I lived with you. You making it sound like, oh, nigga, I wasn't. When you met me, I had money in my pocket, nigga. I might have had more money in my pocket than you had if we keeping it 100. I was always hustling. Always doing shit I shouldn't have been doing, that I didn't really want to do at a time in my life. Allegedly. But I'm just saying, like, I was always a nigga that if I had to go get it, I would go get it. So don't try to paint me like I'm some nigga that you found on the street and I was fucked up, I was homeless, and I was sleeping on your couch. I'm hiding detergent and all this shit. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Let's talk about what you hiding. Because every time it's a talk about accounting, it's always some argumentative energy coming from you only, not from me, not from you.
Never.
I'm never arguing about money, especially not with my niggas. I'm not doing that. But if every time we present some shit, about accounting and you want to start arguing to them, well, audit me then. Fam, I'm never taking my niggas to court. And the first thing you say is, if y'all try to start a podcast, I'm suing the pants off of y'all. Who are you, my nigga?
At that point,
who did you just turn into? Everything that we stood for on this podcast all these years about, you know, corporate fucking over the creatives and this, that. Like, I've seen Joe do fucked up shit in business and music to companies and labels, but I don't care about that because they owe us anyway, so fuck them. Mm-hmm. Never in a million years did I think you would be sitting somewhere talking crazy about me. Not a nigga like me, a nigga that ain't been nothing but stand up with you. As long as you know me, I never did no foul shit to Joe. Never. In fact, I've gotten Joe out of situations where it could have been bad for him. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, really bad for him.
I can see having a different lens.
I frontlined that. Me. Mm. When that shit happened with Consequence, my man popped on Cons. No disrespect to Cons. But that was my homie. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That was my homie that frontlined that. Mm-hmm. He called, yo, nigga, Cons swung on me. Yo, niggas got to come down here. Say no more. But now you trying to play like I was some flunky nigga sleeping on the couch, like you found me on some corner and gave a nigga a roof. Who you fuck you think you talking to, nigga? And I don't mean to present this type of energy, man, but that shit, niggas ain't going to assassinate Maul's character. My shit been A1. Any nigga that know me that had dealings with me, my shit is A1. So don't ever sit nowhere on no fucking platform and try to make it seem like you came and saved me from the streets or you scooped me up off a corner and I was in front of 7-Eleven stinking and shit. We not doing that. We not doing that. That's not happening. I don't like doing this shit. Maul's real cool. I don't even put this type of energy out there. But when niggas try to defamate my character, I don't play with that. You could steal from me. You could take money from me. You could do whatever you want. But one thing you not gonna do is defamate my character and try to put me out here to the people like I'm some nut ass nigga. We not doing that. That's not fuck this podcast, fuck this money, fuck all of this shit. You not gonna defamate my character, my nigga. I've been too solid of a nigga for you to ever sit somewhere and try to defamate my character. We not doing that. When you said that fuck shit you said to me at Park's crib, talking about you, this is none of your business, I knew what it was then. And I told you that, Rory. I said, yo, Rory, it's over. And he was like, what you talking about? I said, fam, this nigga just told me this podcast is none of my business. Looked me in my eyes and said it's none of my business. That for me said everything. You finally just said it, but you been feeling like that, nigga. You been moving like that. You just finally said shit.
We're naive and thinking friends.
Because I'm thinking you my man.
There was cues to it.
It's plenty of times we traveling, we touring. I'm like, yo, fam, how am I getting the same payout when we sell 1,500 seats and we sell 2,000 seats? You think I'm stupid? How am I still getting the same money for that? That don't even add up. It don't even make sense. But what we did, that's the homie. We'll fix it. We'll figure it out. Let's just keep it moving. Let's just keep growing the show. Cool. But enough is enough, fam. Like, I'm not the smartest nigga in the room, but I'm not the dumbest nigga either. Not the dumbest nigga. I'm humble. I'm forgiving. I'm laid back. I'm relaxed. I'm chill. I'm all of those things. I'm not stupid. I could play like I'm stupid. I could act like I'm stupid. But sooner or later, I'm going to pull you by your coattail and say, yo, fam, let me holler at you real quick because I peep game already. And I just want you to know that we're not doing that. And for me, that's all it was. And when he told you to miss a few episodes, when you sent me that text, I'm like, okay, this nigga trying to play the boss card.
Well, no, he also said that he told me to take Tuesday and Friday off.
Again, we not.
I don't want to get into
the text. It's lies. It's just lies, fam. And if we like, fuck it, it's over.
Me until we had to talk,
right?
And then said, "Yo, let's get in our respective corners for the next month." And then came back and said, "Yo, we abandoned the pod, even though it was some shit that you agreed upon."
But listen,
actually, it was your idea,
right? But all of that, let's go to our corners. Cool, we agreed to it. But we can't go to our corners and then you pop up on the show that I helped build and Rory helped build with two new niggas, and no disrespect to them. No disrespect. I don't even want them to feel like it's negative energy towards them. It's none of that. No disrespect to them.
Ice and Ish.
I'm just saying.
They good people.
You tried to make it look away. What you tried to do was you tried to move us out, prove that you can keep the show going without us, because all you really want to do is put two niggas on there that's going to take a salary, because that was your thing with us when we started talking about accounting. Yo, when this deal is over, I'm putting y'all on a salary. What's the first thing we said? It's not happening. It's not happening. You putting who on the salary?
Mm-hmm.
Salary?
No, I remember the conversation.
That's not happening.
And this was before the Spotify, or in between the Spotify deal.
This is what I'm saying. Salary, who, me? After we done put all these years in and all this sweat equity trying to build this shit, salary, me?
And on top of that, let me backtrack even more. When we talk about percentages, 3 of us was in the parking lot of Totowa. Yo, we should do this percentage, cool. And then we started talking about numbers on like some fun shit, chilling. Like, yo, we could probably get this amount from this. Yo, I wouldn't give y'all that percentage off that deal though. And we was like, Joe, that's not how percentages work. Right. I wouldn't give you that much money.
Right.
And you naive. I'm thinking we just joking around type of shit. But
no, you
gotta be accountable in your shit.
You thinking your friend would never do you
naive.
Like that.
I remember that conversation vividly when we brought up those percentages and then brought up a lump sum of what that would be. And he said, oh, I wouldn't give y'all that percentage off that lump sum. Like, yeah. No, that's how a percentage works, Joe.
See, but see, you know what it is, man? And it's to me, and this is just my perspective. I feel like Joe feels like a lot of the success of this podcast is based off of his music career. Right? I feel like he thinks it's a trickle-down effect from his music career to the podcast. And my thing is, it's not. I've been in some of these cities when you were a rapper, Joe. I've been in some of these cities. It wasn't, this many people weren't showing up for you. And see, and again, through all of this, I've had time to replay some shit in my head, and you know how certain shit start to like come together. And he said something at the Highline Ballroom show we did when we were in the dressing room. He had went outside, he had recorded the people wrapped around the corner, and he came back and he said, yo, I got these niggas wrapped around the block. I got the line around the corner. And I looked at him and I said, Joe, you don't have the line around the corner. We have the line around the corner. Because you've done shows here before and you've never had the line around the corner. You've done shows in Philly and you've never had the line around the corner. You've done shows in Boston and you've never had the line around the corner. And that's fine. But it's like the ego, the greed.
I get it.
It just becomes too much, and it's like
and to his right too on personality. Yes, he has grown a large part of his personality outside of rapping with a huge fan base.
Cool. Which is why you get the percentage you get.
Which is why he gets.
Which is why you get the percentage you get. Well, I'm not nigga. I'm a regular nigga from uptown, bro.
Yeah,
I didn't come here with no fan base. Like, I get it.
This whole
I'm gonna take my low percentage and chill. But you're not gonna jerk me on my percentage that I took.
This whole crazy value conversation that everyone's been debating about us and this and that, and yo, they don't do shit here. They do a bunch of shit over here, this and that. Maul and I have never said we're these crazy personalities ever.
Never said it, bro.
I've never bragged about what I do.
I'll gladly admit that. I didn't have an audience. You know, I was known in a couple circles.
Fam, I like talking with my friends.
That's it.
There's value amongst the three of us. Now, do I think Joe has crazy value by himself? Do I think you have crazy value by yourself? Do I think I have crazy value by myself? Yes. Whatever you think that value is from a number standpoint, whatever. But the three of us together with some different type of value.
And let's recognize that. Let's just recognize that.
I never walked in that pod and say, yo, I make this shit.
Yeah, but that demeanor was never presented from this side.
Ever.
Like, I'm not, you know, I see the people online, they saying, oh, y'all, you know, Joe made y'all. Cool, if that's what you want to, but there's a reason he called me and asked me to join the pod, fam. And no disrespect to you, Rory, but when I came on, I feel like I made this shit more palatable.
I agree.
I feel like I made this shit more cool. I feel like I gave this shit a different energy. Like, no disrespect to nobody. You my guy. You know I fuck with you. But I'm just saying, I feel like he knows that, though. So then say that, nigga. Don't let Charlamagne come on the show and have to say it. Why you don't say it?
I remember when you had come on in the second episode, Joe and I were still in the talks of the girl thing, still at that point, because we want to. Yo, Maul, let's just be the guys podcast. Maul killing this shit.
And but my only problem.
And I also don't take any. People are just weirdos in that type of. I don't take offense to that.
No. I'm not
what you did when you came on.
I'm not taking offense to it. I'm just saying that he don't speak up about that shit. He don't be like, nah, you bugging. Like, nah, my man, they got value. They bring shit to this. Like, he let these narratives run and he play into them like,
of course
it's like, fam, like, I see all of that, but he know that I don't give a fuck about that. Like, he know that I'm just the type of dude like, nigga, I don't care about that, man. Like, nigga, we having fun, we busting it up, we making some money. We looked up one day, we had an audience. Cool. Yeah. But my thing is, like, we gotta put your ego to the side, homie. Put your ego to the side. Like, it's not that it's not that serious. Like, what you doing right now, what you did to your niggas, the way he up there talking about me, the way he up there talking about, that's corny. Like, that's corny shit to me, fam. Like, you saying
things that really offend me. Him saying Rory's measly ass and that I was trying to manipulate shit. Let's be transparent and tell the truth more. Because I'm the only one that was talking to him and was talking to you.
Right.
I was trying to save this fucking podcast like you would not fucking believe. With two people that were done with it. Joe was done with the shit. You were done with the shit. And I'm the only one sitting here trying to keep this shit going. So when Joe brings up these words like measly, yo, you lost your leverage. Leverage on what? What is this narrative talk about leverage? I didn't go into any type of thing to have leverage.
Again,
I'm trying to save our fucking podcast, and these are the terms that need to happen, which is terms we agreed upon 2 years ago. I'm not looking for leverage.
Right.
If I was looking for leverage, that would come in renegotiation. Right. I'm not as fucking stupid as you think.
Right.
Stop with these narratives to dumb people that just think you smart. I wasn't looking for leverage on anything. I was trying to save this podcast, and I talked with my mans, and I talked with you, and I put together a list of what would happen on top of the things I needed as well. You said you was going to meet them, said, oh, wait, that's all y'all need? Right. And then didn't meet them.
Right.
And then you was wondering why this didn't happen.
Right.
So I'm the one manipulating shit. You came to me and said I could easily make this shit happen. Came back, nothing happened.
Right. And another thing that I've seen people say, oh, you riding with Rory. I'm riding with what's right.
Did anyone ever think you was doing what was best for you and I was doing what was best for me? And we wasn't even riding for each other?
Right. But see, again, that's why this is important, because like I said, I didn't even want to do this. You didn't want to do this, but we came to something. We was like, it's absolutely necessary because these narratives have to stop. We got to put it into this because this is not what happened. This is not the truth. And again, I give you a whole bunch of credit because when he told you to stay home, the first thing I told you was, I said, Rory, I'm not recording without you.
I remember.
I'm not doing that. I said, because to me, that's nasty. It's basically saying, like, you know, we go to the club, the bouncer say your man can't get in, he ain't got the right shoes on. And then we continue to go in the club. That's corny. I'm never doing that. Fuck it. We all leaving. So when he said he told you to stay home, nah, we not doing that. Go to the studio, Joe, let me holler at you. And we have the talk we have. And then that turns into something else. It's like, Joe, why is it always a problem when people are having a conversation about this show and you're not around? Like, do you feel like niggas is trying to conspire some shit behind your back? Because that's not what it is, bro. Niggas are having creative talks on how to make this shit better, how to grow this shit, productive conversations. I said, but you being real defensive when you're not around and people are talking about the show, it's saying something.
Same way 6 years ago when Elliot and I just went to lunch.
Especially when you have a whole bunch of conversations about this podcast and we not around, and then we continue to be like, okay, let's roll with it. Let's roll with it. All right, cool. And again, we might have to take some onus in that because we probably let that go on. We probably let that go on for too long. So cool, we'll take some onus on that. But then when we had that talk and I'm just seeing him, I'm just like, oh, he thinks that he's really this new guy. Because I'm hearing it and then the way he talking to me, and I'm just like, I think y'all got things twisted. No, we don't got nothing twisted. I think that money started to come in. You started to see more money than you ever seen in your life. You started to have conversations with niggas you wanted to have conversations with as a rapper that would never talk to you. So I think that you starting to feel like this new person and you got this new leash on life, which is fine. I'm not even mad at that, but don't bring that energy.
Love that for my people.
Keep that energy with some groupie bitches. Keep that energy with some fans. Don't bring that energy to your niggas, though. You can have an ego with women and fans and all of that. Don't have no ego with your niggas that built something with you, that was in the trenches with you like I was. A nigga that done been locked up with you like I was.
And if you remember the conversation the three of us had that we thought was productive, he said, yes, I like my ego. My ego is important in certain places. I should channel it better, but I should never channel it the way I channeled it with my friends. This is his words, not mine.
But then what happened now? Like, that went out the window? Because we had a 5-hour conversation at his house. We thought we made some progress. And be clear, I got to give my guy Rory props on this too. I was done with the pod after that conversation we had. I was done.
That's why that measly word and that
Like, you ain't gonna never look me in my eyes.
Bothered me so fucking much. I'm like, fam, I was the one trying to keep this shit together.
I'm gonna give you that credit because I told you, I said, Rory, I would never sit down with him again. I said, because I can't fake it. That energy, that chemistry, that laugh and shit, the fun, it's not there no more. When you look me in my eyes and tell me after all these years, all this grinding, all this building and pushing that we did, you tell me that this shit is none of my business, I could never unhear that, fam. I can never unhear you say that to me.
And granted, maybe there's a bunch of adjectives for me trying to force this podcast to keep going. It's not measly. It's not liar. It's not manipulator.
No. Listen, and I'll have your back on that. It was never that with you.
Did I force something? Maybe. Did I try too hard to make sure the shit
No.
because I really thought we could get back to it?
No.
Maybe.
No, you know what you did? You did what you were supposed to do as a friend. Like, yo, fam, let's just make this shit right. Let's just make this shit right. Like, fuck it, man. We built something dope. This is just a bump in the road. Let's patch this shit up. Let's keep it moving. But I'm gonna be honest. Like I told you, I said, fam, I'm done. I had a 3-hour FaceTime with Royce, and we talked about everything.
And I text Royce afterwards after you called me, and I thanked Royce.
He talked to me about a whole bunch of slaughterhouse shit. He talked to me about a whole bunch of, and it was like, but I'm telling Royce, I'm like, fam, just in the way, again, he had to pull up with Crook. Never put it out.
I watched it.
Never put it out. But
it's a great pull up.
He said something in that pull up that when I saw it, it stuck with me. And when the shit fell apart with us, that shit played in my head. And him and Crook were talking about, Crook said something to the extent of, but bro, we have a contract with them. We gotta honor our contract. We signed this, we agreed to this, we gotta honor that. And Joe's response was, I don't give a fuck about no contract. I don't honor no contracts. And Crook just laughed like, all right, well, if that's how you feel, what are we even talking about? Like, it's no talking to you. Mm-hmm. And when he said that, I'm like, you don't honor no contracts. Well, and here we are today.
Well, also, let's get into some of that conversation that we had where Joe was saying, because I want to make this as fair as possible, and I don't like to speak for people unless I speak for them.
This is correctly. All the truth.
No, I know.
That's why I could sit here comfortably. What color is this? Is this like what's this? Pistachio? Let's call it pistachio. I'm sitting here in my teal. I'm in my teal pistachio. My karma is beautiful. My aura is. I'm great, man.
Joe said he didn't even honor our contract and overpaid us because he said he looked at our contract and saw what that money would have been off our percentage base and said, "Ugh, I don't like it." I want this to be the last time we talk about this, so I'm even gonna put in his good points that he said.
Right.
Which, again, I'm not sitting here saying I didn't believe my mans when he said that.
Right. Right.
I did.
Okay, cool, yeah.
And I said,
thank you.
I said, yo, thank you. Yeah. That's fire. That's some real solid, real man shit to do.
Right.
But when we go back to the points of when we get in our respected corners, let's figure out what makes this work for our friendship and the business side. Mm-hmm. Accounting got brought back into play from when it stopped with the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And everyone made it clear, I don't care how far you dance around it, just throwing numbers in an Excel spreadsheet is not accounting.
Not accounting.
So yes, did I get accounting that said I was overpaid? Did I get accounting that said Joe is the greatest guy on earth? Of course. Mm-hmm. I did. And even then, did not say he was wrong. I said, just give me the regular accounting. Like, you taking a whole month and getting mad at me and resenting me because you've been overpaying me but didn't tell anyone, and you now have the accountants working on this instead of something else, and they're offended and this and that.
Well, let me be clear. I don't think we were overpaid.
I'm still on the side of
you don't sit on
I don't know anything.
You don't know.
That's been my issue the whole time.
I'm just going with the optic. You don't sit on the set and talk about me and talk about you the way he did, and then underneath all of that, you're overpaying somebody. It don't add up.
Let's say I'm overpaid.
It don't add up.
Let's say I'm overpaid.
That energy don't even match. You don't overpay people that you feel like that about and that you end up talking about like that publicly. You don't do that.
Let's dead the narrative right now of this was about money. That we said it was not about money. And then Joe came on to that podcast and said, this is about money. Rory's asking about money. Let's dead that now. Spotify deal is about to end. Even before we even went into negotiations, Joe had said to me on some friend shit, we was at lunch, he said, I already don't think this is going to be a good situation for us. I said, bet. I've been saving my money. fuck Spotify. If they come back with a crazy amount of number, but it don't make sense for us, fuck it. I don't care. I've been saving my money. I don't splurge like that. I'm chilling. And at this point, I think it was 6 or 7 months before our deal even ended. So I was like, let's just get back. Nobody go crazy with their bread. And if we got to go independent, we got to go independent. That's great. Whatever. That's probably a cool scenario. You don't have to worry about me at all. Don't ever make a decision. And I said this to him 1,000 times during that Spotify deal. That's why this also offends me off his shit. I said, don't ever think you have to worry about me with money. Don't ever make a decision about me that has to do with making sure I'm paid.
Right.
I love you for that, but don't ever do it. Cash App deal comes around. Pardon, his Cash App deal for his pull-ups, according to him. We leave Spotify. He starts bringing in Cash App to our podcast. Amazing. Love that. Cool. I get an email from the accounting company, CC'd with Ian, on what a payment is going to be per month. This is the Cash App deal.
Yep.
Naturally, as I always do, and as I told Joe, since the day we started doing business together, I don't care if it's $10 or $10 billion. I'm going to ask, so what is it? Cash App deal was great. It was around the exact same money, if not a couple $100 more than what we were doing with Spotify per month. Amazing. Love you for getting that, my dude. Just ask, so what is this?
Right.
Simple question. Left it alone. Didn't even really get an answer. Didn't particularly care.
Right.
Everything's cool. We in a pandemic. We don't have a deal. You out there getting us money. My God. Fuck with you. Don't care. Whatever. This is about the show. Love you.
Respect.
Patreon deal comes around. I don't know a single fucking thing about it. I find out on the air with the rest of y'all. I saw all y'all jokes.
We don't know a thing about it.
They were correct.
Right. Yeah, no. Had
Let's
no
be
idea.
transparent. Got on there. All right, you're the head of creator equity. Cool. But prior to that, we were talking about starting a Patreon page with our shit.
Right.
Which, by the way, is not, you don't have to have a deal with Patreon to start a Patreon page. Right. So when we have conversations prior to this, I'm not thinking, okay, this is a Joe deal. And I also asked, I even asked his manager, is this a Joe Budden Network deal? Like, is this going to have See the
all
Thing
the other
Is?
shows, right.
Karen, like, just because, and not even on some crazy shit, just on, well, let me just try to figure out what this is so I can know how to move with it. I'm not here to disrupt things. I'm just asking what the fuck is going on.
Right.
He gets on there. We congratulate him for his position. Still love you, Joe, for getting that position. That's amazing. Patreon's great. I get a call from Ian. Hey, the accountant's going to reach out to you. This is going to be the monthly fee for Patreon.
Yep.
Was the number crazy per month? Absolutely.
Good. Great money.
It's a lot of fucking money.
Great money.
Lot of fucking money. When I see a lot of money, do I automatically think, oh, there must be more? No. I just ask, so what is this based off of? Because from my understanding, at this point, this was a Joe Budden podcast thing.
What his manager said.
Him and his manager, Ian, shout Ian. Again, I'm not here to assassinate anyone's character. I say to Ian, yo, I've been stacking my bread. I'm fine. People look overworked, and we're doing a lot of shit right now. Like, I can just tell the morale is, I can just see it, that people are just overworked.
No.
Patreon
It wasn't seeing it. They expressed it to us.
It's not my place to say, even though they said
my place to say.
No, even though they said their place about me, I still don't return the favor when people do shit to me.
I'm saying it. People expressed that they were overworked and underpaid.
So I say to Ian and Joe, I don't care what narratives you spin, anything, whatever. I said to Ian, don't pay me this month or next. Don't give me that amount of money.
I remember.
And that was a lot of fucking money.
Yeah.
I said, don't pay me. Let's put it into production. Let's put it into the guys. This is not about money to me. Let's keep this shit moving.
Right.
Like, I don't need this shit.
Right.
We could just stick to whatever contract. I don't need this. Like, I don't need it right now.
Because you even came to me with that. You was like, yo, we should, the first month Patreon check, we should both just give it to the guys.
Yeah.
Camera guys, Savon,
like,
Alex,
fam, these people,
Parks.
Everyone looks like they're working crazy.
Parks.
Like, they're working crazy. Like, let's just give them that. Me and Ian have a great fucking conversation. I get a call early in the morning.
You're ungrateful.
Back to when you said you were talking to Joe. At this point, this was the first time in my life I said, who the fuck am I talking to? I wake up to someone screaming into the phone of how ungrateful I am.
Yeah.
How I don't give a fuck about anybody.
Yeah.
Any of this. And I'm like, what are you? Joe, I said, don't pay me.
Right.
And he's like, yo, you know, Patreon got has nothing the fuck to do with you. Fuck you. Fuck all this. This ain't just shit. Why the fuck you even talking about shit? I'm like, your manager called me in a payout for Patreon. I said, just give it to everyone else.
Right.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Thought you were being a stand-up honorable guy.
I just think that's just some shit to do for the bigger picture for everybody. I don't care about money.
Right.
So he screams, and I'm like, yo, I don't even know who I'm talking to. When I met Joe, he probably had one of the bigger egos I'd ever met in my life. At this point, I'm like, yo, I don't even know who I'm talking to anymore.
I don't know who I'm talking to anymore. Like, who is this guy?
So that happens.
With an Amiri hat on.
I don't know if it's a fact that he had an Amiri hat on during that phone conversation.
He definitely had it on.
If you got that hat on at 7 a.m.
For sure. Definitely had it.
You a sick dude. So he does that, and I think it's the weirdest fucking thing on earth. But I'm still cool. Still don't think anything of it. They send the Patreon money to me, and back to psychoanalyzing your friends, back to me starting to think about old shit of like, all right, this shit is kind of weird. So yeah, when I hear Joe say at the end of that episode, let's do it for free now. It's on friendship. Ain't no business at all. Let's just do this shit for free. I've been on that time.
Right.
This is not about money. Because even before the Cash App shit, which then he threw back in my face when I said, yo, don't worry about me. And they did the Cash App thing. And I said, what is this?
It's like we weren't supposed to ask anything. We were supposed to just go with whatever they were putting in front of us. And it's like, but it don't work like that.
Yo, the conclusion of this entire thing was me going, yo, so what is that? And then met with crazy anger. That's what this we could chop this entire thing down to that.
Mm-hmm. Again, when you start questioning where money is coming from and where it's going. Accounting. That's all this shit is about. We asked to see the accounting because we have a profit agreement. We have a percentage-based agreement with each other.
I never did it maliciously, never did it with accusations, never insinuated anything. Our lawyers never got crazy. Joe and I even went back when we were talking at his crib about my lawyer being spicy on shit, and I read the email back to him.
Very polite.
And my accountant.
Very professional.
My accountant said, it's lovely to meet everyone. Let me know when you guys are ready to work.
But again, they only say that because they don't even want to be questioned about the accounting. They don't want to be questioned about anything. So when somebody even raises a question, it's a problem. You got to know that people can tell what that is. If every time I ask a question, you get upset, we know what that is, fam.
And for so many years, didn't think about it, didn't cross my mind. That's my guy, not thinking anything like that. But then once we put that list together, we even came back and had that episode, which still didn't really sit right with me with everything Joe was saying, because it was a complete polar opposite of everything he said when you and I had that amazing conversation for 6 hours at his crib. Like, it was just all that adding up. And then the conversations between my lawyer and his on, hey, this is our stance. And I was like, all right, cool. Now I'm going to make my decision. And mind you, during that entire break that we had with the pod, not you and I, the entire pod, I didn't hear from Joe. I didn't hear from Ian. My lawyer replied to them off what they said from the accounting, and I heard nothing. Monday, I get a call from Ian. Yo, this is just the stance. This is just what it is. So, okay, I'll make a decision with my lawyer. This is Monday. We record Tuesdays. Hit Ian, yo, I'm going to make a decision with my lawyer. And then have you didn't show up again. Like, I told you, I'm going to go make a decision with my lawyer off everything that we agreed upon to move this shit forward.
We had a conversation and he said, oh yeah, I'm going to be transparent. You know, everything is going to be, sent over.
Agreed that he had handled it incorrectly before. The accounting shit should have been easy for everybody.
All of that. We covered all of that.
I'm not putting words in anyone's mouth.
In a 5-hour conversation. And then we end up in the same place where we were before. An Excel spreadsheet that's supposed to be accounting that anybody can just go in and punch numbers in. And no, we're not at liberty or whatever they said. We're not showing the Spotify deal.
Okay.
What happened to transparent? What the fuck happened to transparency and all this other shit that we just spent 5 hours in the house talking about?
Gotta lean into narratives, man. That's what happened that entire episode.
Listen, man.
Lean into the tension him and I had. We could even talk about that weirdo conversation that he talked about with everyone, with Corey and everyone in the room, saying, oh, Rory was upset that I would work with academics. Y'all were talking about it. I was sitting on the couch and I heard it. And yes, I chimed in. I said, oh, you would? And you said, yeah. I said, okay. I think that's weird.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that's weird.
Right.
And I won't get into our further conversation upon why I thought that was weird.
Oh, it's weird.
But that was it. And again, I psychoanalyzed my friends too. Just said, all right, cool. That did not start our tension. Did that episode suck? Yes, it did. But we were fine after that for a bunch of episodes. Joe and I's tension initially really came from him throwing personal shots, not the way we make jokes about our personal lives. Not that. Personal shit that only him and I knew, that he would take shots publicly on that podcast. To the point, it's like, this ain't for the audience. Only you and I know. Why are you making all these little shots?
Right.
That's what started pissing me off. And let's dead this fucking narrative of me inviting Joe to my hands. Can we please please dead this fucking narrative? Man, this is the stupidest narrative ever. That was
stupid.
Joe has been saying that to me forever.
Yeah, like niggas joke like that. Nobody's really gonna fight. Joe didn't think that Rory really wanted to fight him and that he was gonna hit him. And it's like, cut it out, man. Stop with that bullshit.
And Joe has been doing that to me forever.
Yeah, like, stop, I didn't start that narrative. Stop with that dumb. That shit is just stupid, man. And like I said, I'm mad that we even got to sit here and do this, because I don't even like addressing dumb shit and stupid shit. But I understand we owe it to the supporters and the listeners and the followers to just tell the truth. I'm not going to say outside. This is the truth. This is what it is. This is what the issue is and was. Is the fact that we kept asking for accounting. We're supposed to get accounting, because I see people saying, oh, why are y'all asking for the books if y'all employees can't? No. We have
profit partners.
Profit partners
are allowed for any accounting. And body of an email and an Excel spreadsheet is not fucking accounting.
That's not accounting. And you know anything about accounting, you would never send somebody an Excel spreadsheet and say, this is accounting. It's disrespectful.
And we was cool through it. And just got to a point with so much shit adding up.
We kept it pushing and kept recording after receiving that bullshit accounting. We kept recording and kept it pushing. And then it just got to a point where it was like, all right, enough is enough, man. Like, it's just too much shit going on. We trying to get shit right. We've been trying to get shit right on the business side. Sooner or later, we got to just put a halt. Like, hold on. Let's correct this. What the fuck is going on? Let's get this straight. And then that was met with disrespect. That was met with some words. And, you know, it just got to a point where it was just like the chemistry was affected. The relationship between us was affected. And that's what made the magic. That's what made the show work, was the chemistry between us, the energy between us. And like I said, once you tell me that this is none of my business, I can't sit here and bust it up and crack jokes and try to act like I fuck with you. Like, I'm not fake. I can't do that. I can't perform like that. I'm not a fake guy. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and act like you didn't just tell me that a show that I helped build with you and push with you and grow with you is none of my business. Like, we're not doing that. You can never talk to me and disrespect me like that and think that I'm gonna sit on the couch and be like, yeah, you know, Saweetie was looking good. We're not doing that.
I mean, she looks good though.
She looks great. But I don't want to sit here and talk to you about it no more.
That's a fact.
And that's all it was for me. It was like, yo, I'm done. I told you I was done. And like I said, speaking to you, speaking to Royce, speaking to my brother, and, you know, Biggs was real instrumental in that too. Like, he talked to me a lot, and we talked about a lot of Rockefeller shit he dealt with. And, you know, he brought light to a lot of shit, but he understood that, you know, if your heart ain't there no more, it's nothing you can do. Like, once your heart is gone and your energy is gone, then you just got to move on. And that's what it was for me. And like I said, after having that conversation at his crib and us three talking for 5 hours, I said, you know what? I'm willing to give this another shot.
It felt like a good combo.
It felt like a very productive
we
conversation.
were actually talking about coming back that very next day. If my uncle didn't pass, we would have.
Right. It felt like it was very productive. It felt like, you know, we had met each other at a point and all agreed. And when we got on that air that Tuesday and he started saying things, I don't owe my friends respect. It's like, wait, what? I don't even want to be sitting here with this energy, because I think it's just counterproductive. So let me remove myself and, you know, let things go the way they want to go. And like I said, him, you know, I read everything, man. Like, I know what Joe was doing, bringing the homies on to. I know what that is, fam. Like, I'm not stupid. I know what that energy is. Like, I know what that is. And, you know, I laughed at it because I know the relationship that he has with them two. And I know things ain't all peachy between them. I know personal shit, and I'm not going to get into that. I know personal history that happened between them. So I know it's just like, you really going to sit here and just try to create this optic that, oh, I could do this with anybody. You willing to pull on people that you know you got issues with, that you don't really bang with like that, to just try to prove a point to me and Rory? And then gonna try to spin it like we abandoned our audience. First of all, you said we gonna all go to our corners and get right. So if we all go on our corners,
tag on it.
Yeah, you put the mum tag on it, but I thought we was all going our corners. You sitting on here recording the show with other people. So it's like, all right, fam, you ain't gotta.
I'm here with a bunch of dudes that actually want to be here.
Yeah, it's like stop, man. You trying to create these narratives and you trying to spin shit, and this is like, I'm not. It's just weird at this point. It's like, all right, man, let me just detach myself from this. It was a great run. You know, I love the times we had. It was definitely more goods than bads.
And
I'll give you that.
Giving the crew that whole narrative to them of, yo, how would y'all, isn't that offensive to y'all that these two would abandon this shit?
Like, stop,
abandon
man,
this shit.
stop.
No, this is an agreement upon the three of us.
We agreed that, okay, we're going to take, and like I said, you put the tag on it that accounting was going to take a month.
And I was the one that said we could talk about it. And after we had that 5-hour conversation a month later, the three of us said, shit, we should have had this week 1.
We could have had it week 1.
So I'm the measly one that was trying to do it from rip and just get this shit over with and move on.
No. We didn't have it week 1 because, like I said,
well, he didn't hit me. He just texted me and then that was it.
He was busy trying to create.
He told me.
He was busy trying to create the narrative that I could sit here and do this with anybody. It's just trying to devalue. It's trying to devalue. It's trying to say something. It's trying to spin. Like, I know what that shit is, fam. I'm not stupid. I could play stupid, but I'm not stupid. I know what you're doing. You're going to sit here and try to play, oh, yeah, I could do this with anybody.
No, I know that.
Cool. I know that that's what you always wanted. You wanted to move me and Rory out. You was going to try to wait till our contract was over because you know I wasn't going for no salary contract. Rory's already told you he wasn't. But then now you could bring in 2 other people that's going to have to roll with the salary contract because they didn't build this show. So I know how you trying to spin it. It's fine, bro. I don't care about that. But please don't try.
Also said that he could get both them for the price of half of one of us.
Of course he can.
No, he said that to me though.
Of course he can. That's what he wants. Yeah. He doesn't want to have to pay the money that he would have to pay.
Yeah, so it's like, it's cool for the price of one of us cut in half.
But it's like but what you're not gonna do, you're not gonna sit there and defamate my character, bro. Don't do that. We are not doing that. It's not happening. My reputation is A1. You're not gonna find anybody out here that's gonna say no grimy shit about me or some crazy shit about me. And if they do, they're lying. So don't do that. You can have your platform. And again, I'm not salty. I'll go on and do big numbers. Be great. Be whoever it is that you want to be.
I think everyone will be fine.
But please do not defamate my character and try to paint me as somebody that I'm not, because that's when things are going to go really, really wrong. And I'm not trying to do that. I'm not going to defamate your character. Don't defamate my character. We tried something. We tried to work some business out. It didn't happen. Rory and I know why it didn't happen. So let's just leave it at that, fam, and stop lying to the people, man. Like, give the people we gave the people the truth. But then you should give the people the truth as well. Don't sit there and spin no narratives and just lie and create shit. No, fam. This comes down to we have a profit agreement, a percentage-based contract with each other, and every time we asked for accounting, there was a problem. You never wanted to give nobody accounting. You don't want to show us the real numbers from the deals and all of this other shit. And it's like, all right, fam, what are we doing? Because, again, we have this contract, and if you're not going to honor this contract like you said in front of other people, then it's like this shit ain't going to work. It's not going to work. And if you don't, like I said, if respect ain't there, I'm not there.